like to show you the way I make my tower busters. I'm not saying my way is the correct way or anybody else's. It's just the way I developed, and I took a lot of things from other people on the internet by watching their videos and reading their information. And so here you go. Here's what you're going to need. Silicone mold. Make sure it's silicone. If you never did this before, the metal molds could be much harder to work with if you don't know what you're doing. Copper wire, tools to make coils out of the copper wire, and there's cutters, pliers, resin. I prefer to use Easy Cast. It will not sink up the whole house. It does have a certain amount of smell to it, and so if you want to use a respirator, or just definitely use it in a well-ventilated area. And you're going to need to mix your Easy Cast into cups, and you're going to need some wood. This is for mixing your Easy Cast. Toothpicks, a small spoon for your metal shavings. I prefer to use brass. You could use another type of metal, aluminum, iron, titanium. There's no exact science to this, as far as I'm concerned. This is an accidental discovery. Some of my designs will stick to each other, and I have no idea why. Now, if I do this, they won't. I'm going to leave them together for a couple minutes, and they will entrain. And so, let's begin. I have a piece of paper here, not that you will be using a piece of paper, but just because of the camera angle, I want to show you what I'm doing instead of showing it in here. As an example of one of my designs, I will take about 2 or 3 or 4 different types of igneous rocks, crystals, and mix them together. Right here I have dumortierite and rubellite tourmaline and clear quartz. And you're going to place these as a first layer of your tower buster, along with your mixture of Easy Cast resin. And you don't want to make much of it. You want to make enough to just below where these are still sticking out of the first layer inside of your mold. And use your toothpick to move each little stone around to get rid of the bubbles and arrange them nicely, so they look good. And let that dry for as long as you want to, and before you begin with your metal shavings. And you'll begin with your metal shavings as a second layer of the resin. Now, what most people will do is they'll just take their shavings and just start throwing them in there into their mold like so. I don't like to do that. I prefer to spoon my shavings onto the sides of the mold, building a perimeter around the igneous material you have in the middle of your mold. I'll put more in that. Make a nice circle. Build that up so you just see only brass on the sides of your tower buster. Of course, you see it's the crystals on top. And it's probably going to take you around 7 or 8 layers for you to fill up these molds. In the second to the last mixture of Easy Cast, before you're done, the levels are done here, you're going to add your coil. This is an SBB coil, and you want the center of that coil to have a clockwise look to it. And on the final layer of your easy cast, I don't have it here, but I take some powdered iron oxide, mix it with my easy cast resin, and slowly pour that as the last layer in your tire buster, thus giving it that black effect here. And I like to leave some space where you can still see the coil. You don't have to. I think it's just as effective, but it's just kind of decoration purposes. I just like to leave the coil there. Doesn't have to be perfect. And that's pretty much it. Oh yeah, crystal combining. Very important. I recommend, now there's a couple ways of doing it. You could research the elements of stones. All these stones have their own element, like say earth, wind, fire, water, storm. And combine them based on the elements, and avoid combining them based on the elements. Storm is a mixture of different elements apparently. And I think earth could be combined with water, air could be combined with fire, something like that. Or of course you could combine earth elements with earth stones, and fire stones with fire stones and things like that. What I prefer to do is, I already knew about a place called quantumtechniques.com. I'll link it to the bottom of this video, and learn about their self-muscle testing method. And what you do, you test these stones together in your hands. You start asking questions, and you're testing them with your own energy field. You'll find it's going to be a very interesting thing once you get into it. And by the way, there are things that could throw off self-muscle testing. You could learn about those at Quantum Techniques. They'll be happy to teach you. I don't want to teach the method here. First of all, I paid for it, and I don't think they would appreciate me teaching you the method. So if you really want to learn something about you and the stuff, I definitely recommend quantumtechniques.com. And that's pretty much it. And oh yeah, this is a piece of selenite. I don't like to crush. If I want to break this down into smaller pieces, I wouldn't want to crush terminated and double terminated crystals in themselves. Don't like to do it. But selenite, I'd be happy to crush that down. And I recommend using something like this, a sword thumb rock crusher. And the only problem with this, although you won't have pieces flying into your face or eye, like you would with a hammer, trying to break some of these rocks down. You do have some powder that doesn't mix with the air, and you could breathe in some of that powder in. So I would recommend using a respirator, or do it in a windy area, or just be careful. As you break it down. And that's pretty much it. So any questions, just write them in the comments section below. Let's say if these two train to each other, and they are. There's no magnets in these, and I have no idea why they do that, like I say. But I believe it has something to do with the dual coil design that I placed in here. I have a regular coil and an SPB coil in here. So I hope you enjoy this video. Like I say, any questions, just write them in the comments section. Thank you.